Hello and welcome. My name is Christina from Empowered Creator. I am a mindset and conscious manifesting teacher and coach, and this is my YouTube channel. Here I talk about all things law of assumption, mindset, conscious manifesting, the quantum universe, and a lot more. And my goal is to simplify everything without the fluff. So if you guys like this content and you would like to see more of it, I would love it if you would subscribe to this channel, comment on this video, like it, share it, and stick around. Also, if you need help with your specific situation, I offer one-on-one coaching, email coaching, as well as custom subliminals for whatever needs you may have. I also have a self-study mini course, Telepathically Connect with Your Specific Person. So if you're interested in any of these services, the links are below in the description box. Click on them and they're going to take you to my website. With all that being said, let's dive into today's video. In today's video, I want to talk to all of you manifesting a specific person about how you can let go of what is happening now, what is now in the present that you might not like or you might not prefer, and actually elevate yourself to the level of your higher self, your higher consciousness, and start manifesting your specific person from there, from that point of view. So this is what I'll be discussing in today's video. Stay tuned. So I know it's very common when we're manifesting a specific person because for most people, this is something that is very important. This is something that they are emotionally invested in. And as such, it tends to feel more difficult. It tends to feel harder. In some cases, it might feel impossible. It might feel insurmountable, depending on how much power you might be giving to circumstances. And the number one issue I see in people manifesting a specific person is how stuck they remain to current circumstances, to the current 3D, or to the old story, or to what might have transpired in the past. And they find it very hard, very challenging to get past that and actually start imagining themselves in their state of the wish fulfilled. The reason why this is so challenging is, like I just said, because SP manifestations usually tend to hold a lot of importance for most people. Also, personal relationships a lot of the time tend to bring out all of our insecurities, all of our fears, perhaps some hidden wounds and traumas. And so we tend to get so much more triggered by these kinds of desires and these kinds of manifestations. However, what I want you guys to realize, and I want you to try and remember it as much as you can, is that all these doubts, all these fears, all these insecurities, all this dwelling on the circumstances and on the obstacles and on all the reasons why things are hard between you and your SP, or why your desire feels perhaps impossible or very, very difficult to obtain, all this pain and hurt you might be feeling from your past, if you have a past story with your specific person, all of these come from your ego mind. Some teachers also call it your lower mind, your lower self. This is something we all have. It's tied to our human nature. It goes hand in hand with our human nature. So it's nothing abnormal or unusual. It's perfectly normal, perfectly natural. We all have an ego. There is no human being without an ego. And our ego is indeed useful in some situations and some circumstances. However, it can also equally sabotage us and set us back in many, many other circumstances and in many other cases. When it comes to conscious manifesting, and specifically when it comes to a specific person, because like I said, we tend to be emotionally invested in those kinds of desires, and we tend to place a lot of importance and a lot of weight on them, this is where your ego mind can actually sabotage you the most. By keeping you stuck on circumstances, by keeping you stuck on the old story, by keeping you dwelling on why it cannot happen, all the reasons why it's so hard and so difficult, and so on. What your ego mind is doing is essentially holding you back from going into the unknown, from launching yourself into imagining better for yourself, imagining a different reality, a better reality, a reality that is more aligned with what you actually want. So how do you overcome that? How do you transcend that? This is where you consciously raise yourself to the level of your higher self and your higher consciousness. This is where you make a conscious decision that circumstances don't actually matter. This is where you start realizing that my circumstances, whatever these might be, there are no exceptions. My circumstances only have as much power over me as I give them. If I'm facing a certain circumstance and I decide that it's a big obstacle, a big block, then this is what the 3D is going to show me. If on the other hand, I decide not to give it power and that it doesn't matter, it's going to change or it's going to sort itself out one way or another, that is also what I'm going to see in the 3D. So aligning with your higher self to manifest your specific person from that space is exactly no longer giving power to circumstances, no longer allowing the circumstances to stop you from imagining a different reality that is aligned with the reality that you want to experience with your specific person. It doesn't matter what happened in the past, because first of all, it doesn't define the future, and second, all the hurt and the pain and the anger and the resentment you might have felt all came from your ego mind. However, now you're making a conscious decision to align with your higher self instead. It doesn't mean that these things didn't happen. It doesn't mean that that reality doesn't exist. It does. However, it doesn't need to define you. It doesn't need to continue to be your reality. And most importantly, it doesn't need to be the reality you keep choosing. You have free choice to select and choose whatever new reality that you want and dwell in that and create that in your 3D reality instead. And this is how you actually align with your higher self. This is how you align with that God part of your consciousness that is able to see things from the top down, if you will, versus bottom up. So you're no longer seeing the situation and the relationship and yourself and your SP from the point of view of your circumstances, the point of view of the old story and of the past, and all of these things that keep you stuck where you currently are, and trying to get yourself higher up to manifest something better. Instead, you go higher up in the first place to begin with, you align with your higher self, and you view things from the top down. You start seeing the situation with your SP through your God consciousness. You start imagining and choosing the reality that you want and the version of the relationship that you want to experience with them. And you start vibrating along those frequencies. You choose that reality for you and you embody that person who now has their desire, who now is with their specific person, their thoughts, their assumptions, their feelings, the way they carry themselves, their overall energy, their outlook towards life, and so on. Once you do that, once you dare to imagine better for yourself, to choose the reality that you want, and dwell in that and align with that, and start vibrating in that frequency instead, in the frequency of your higher self, and how your higher self would actually view things and view the situation as opposed to how your lower self views it, you will start feeling the difference and the shift within you, because now you're vibrating in a totally different frequency. You are vibrating in the frequency of the person who has, in the frequency of the person who doesn't give power to circumstances because they know that they don't matter, they don't mean anything. And by taking that approach, you see how much easier manifesting becomes, including manifesting a specific person, which tends to be challenging for a lot of people. And once this becomes your new state, once this becomes your new point of view, you will also see that the 3D starts changing and shifting to match that point of view and new reality. So do you want to make it easier on yourself to manifest your specific person? Align with your higher self. Start seeing things from the point of view of your higher self, not the point of view of your ego, of your pain, of your hurt, of your circumstances, of the 3D, of the old story, of what they might have said or not done in the past, and so on. And you will see how much easier things are going to start flowing, and how much you're going to feel the difference within, and how, before you know it, the 3D will also start shifting to match that new reality. With all that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I intend that this has helped. As always, I very much appreciate you guys being on this channel, watching this content. I love making this content for you. And as always, I look forward to seeing you all at the next video. Until then, take care and bye-bye.